Tchia is an open-world action-adventure game that's set in a world inspired by New Caledonia, which is within the Polynesian Pacific Island region. The game features Tchia, a young girl who has a unique ability to shapeshift into animals and objects in her immediate environment. She sets out to explore nearby villages and cities to seek out the world's ruler, Miavora, who has captured and imprisoned her father. The game features a vibrant open world that is surprisingly large, and Tchia navigates the archipelago by boat, which has a simple yet charming mechanic where players must raise and lower the sails to control speed. In addition to soul jumping, a less conventional method of travel that sees Tchia taking control of nearby animals and objects. It's just simply cool, a unique mechanic that I kind of wish we saw more of in more games. Now, the game starts with a story about a malevolent ruler in an island nation whose power comes from the children he's eaten. Tchia's archipelago's children are also in danger, and Tchia must use her shapeshifting ability to explore the game's open world and put a stop to Miavora's plan. The shapeshifting mechanic is implemented expertly, and Tchia can transform into a variety of animals and objects. Now, when it comes to the gameplay of Tchia, it goes from being a game that's heavily reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker into something new and beautiful. With Tchia's variety and fluidity of movement, experimentation and exploration making the game a true delight to play. Soul jumping is not just a great way to travel, but it also is handy for combat. Bouncing Tchia between lanterns and explosive canisters as she catapults them into enemies can be very satisfying, and time slows down while you take aim, so it's easy enough to keep the flow going and create fiery chaos. Tchia does not have a map in the traditional sense. Instead, it's a digital version of a paper map. Now, I do have to admit that the map in this game it takes a little bit getting used to, because it's not the conventional map that you're used to when it comes to games, as it's very, I'm not sure how many of you are from the era where you actually had maps you had to pinpoint where you were and this is the exit to go and this such, the way charting was before the GPS era. That's exactly what it kind of is like here. And if you're not used to that type of map, then you're going to be thrown off heavily. It works for the sake of this game, but overall it's something that I think could have been done a little bit better. It just, it is what it is. As Tchia, you must seek out landmarks to fully grasp your geolocation. Tchia's map reinforces the game's focus on exploration, and players are encouraged to take some time to look around and not just run straight from task to task. When Tchia isn't sailing across the ocean or jumping between souls, she is either hunting for the generous amount of collectibles and cosmetic unlocks, enjoying one of the many mini games and diversions, or playing her ukulele. The ukulele plays relatively a small part in the game, but the amount of effort the developers have put into Tchia's musical instrument must be acknowledged. As someone who is Hawaiian and Samoan and grew up here in Polynesia, or, the Polynesian islands, being that I'm born and raised in Samoa, but I also grew up in Hawaii as well. It's really interesting seeing that even though this isn't fully our culture as someone who's Hawaiian and Samoan, but seeing that the Polynesian culture as a whole, like not just a specific ethnic group within Polynesia, but just seeing our culture represented in a game is absolutely cool. It doesn't occur a lot, and I'm really happy that this actually got to happen. Tchia's ukulele also has magical properties, allowing it to change the time of day, causing it to start or stop raining, drawing animals towards Tchia, and more. So again, the Zelda aesthetics of this game are very, very strong. If you're familiar with Ocarina of Time, or if you're familiar with the Wind Waker, you have a very good idea of what this is like. Another element of Tchia is that it deserves special mention for its story, with a very evil villain who commits some unexpectedly harrowing atrocities. The game can be incredibly dark. The story provides a unique coming-of-age experience set in a world inspired by New Caledonia. Tchia herself often reacts in a hilarious way when she doesn't understand something or is frustrated, which makes sense given that she's in over her head in this adventure. She might be from a secluded island where only her dad and the rare visitor offer company, but she can still deliver some sass. Tchia is not only darker than expected, but again, it's also quite funny. In wrapping everything up, Tchia has a lot of potential as a unique coming of age story set in a world inspired by Polynesian islands in general. The shape-shifting mechanic and the sailing mechanic add to the game's overall charm, making it a great story and gameplay combination. However, there are some issues with this game, as performance issues hamper the game from the very start. Even on the PlayStation 5, there are a lot of issues that definitely need to be patched out. Despite this, Tchia is a delight to play, and its variety and fluidity of movement, experimentation, and exploration make it an overall enjoyable experience that I think you're going to love if you have the opportunity to play it.